What's up, everyone? We're at the Watercooler. I'm Kyle, that's Leah, and Ray's dead. Not dead, damn it.
He's not.
No.
But the conspiracy lives on.
Lives on. Stay tuned for that. We covered it in depth last week, but we have a pretty wild conspiracy theory that puts Ray at the very middle of this entire investigation. But for all intents and purposes, you know, he's still alive, he's still with us, and the shotgun blast that we saw at the end of episode 2 was in fact riot bullets that are used usually by police, which leads us to the question of, who was the guy that shot him?
Seriously, we've already seen this group that's killing off people gouge out 2 people's eyes now, is that right?
Right, yeah.
And other things. But why would they choose to use not real bullets to go after one of the cops who's investigating this case as a whole? It just doesn't make any sense.
This means to me that the person who shot Ray knows who Ray is, and that was a clear setup to get Ray into that apartment complex. That's the only thing I can really theorize, because beyond that, I really don't have any idea. But obviously they knew it was Ray that was coming. If you will remember, Frank is the one who tipped off Ray about the house. So from where it goes here, I'm not exactly sure, other than they wanted Ray to be alive, but they also wanted to send some sort of weird message, possibly to Frank. Yeah, so let's talk about how creepy that first scene was.
Yes.
I'm using the word creepy. I've heard Leah call it surreal. I was super uncomfortable, but I want to emphasize that I think that's a testament to how good that scene was. Just a really, really creepy, surreal opening bit. What'd you think?
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was kind of weird. It kind of delved into what Ray thinks of himself a little bit.
Yeah.
There's like some David Lynch-isms to that. You had the music playing in the background. It was almost like a lucid dream. And we've had a couple other nods to David Lynch too as the season has gone on. In the first episode, we saw the Mulholland Drive sign, which is just like clearly a David Lynch movie called Mulholland Drive.
That's where I was going. Mulholland Drive.
And then in other scenes, we've actually seen some cinematography that was very much a nod to him. So I thought it was kind of cool.
So yeah, definitely. We're introduced to Ray's dad, first obviously in the dream sequence scene and then later on in the episode. And we learned that, you know, Ray's picked up a few of his old man's habits. This near-death experience might have set Ray on a new path. He gets a physical in which the doctor tells him, hey, maybe chill out on just the drugs or just the alcohol.
Your liver is nearly toast. Stop drinking so much.
Ray pretty much agrees with all of this and seems to be kind of thinking about how he can improve his ways. One character who is not improving his ways and who is in fact diving back into his deep, dark past is our character of Frank, who's getting a little squeezed now as another one of his henchmen has gone down, killed, and essentially another signal or another message to Frank. And we want to talk about the scene in particular in the club, in the back room, where Vince Vaughn goes full-on OG and just beats the living hell out of somebody.
Yes. I was gonna say full-on like Tony Soprano or something along those lines, but OG, yeah.
OG,
definitely.
oh yeah. My favorite thing, one of my favorite things is whenever the OG, the original gangster, has to show, you know, he still has it. He still has the fighting chops. He can still, you know, if he needs to, you know, go to fisticuffs, he can do it.
Yeah.
And Frank showed it off.
Yeah,
against Santos.
I was really like afraid for him before that scene because that was a pretty large Hispanic dude that looked like he could have done some damage. But he was, oh my God, Frank was so ballsy. And he was like, man, you don't even have to take off your rings.
Oh, the line, don't even take off your rings. You're not gonna land a punch. Just, oh, take some, get some. And then of course, the ultimate other like gangster move, you beat him down to the pulp and then you pull out the pliers.
Oh my God.
And you go after the teeth. And again, True Detective always guarantees us one cringeworthy moment. We got it last night with pliers yanking out teeth.
Oh God, yeah. And I actually thought it was all just one big grill or something like that.
I did too, yeah.
They were individual. You know how long that must have taken?
Oh my God, that's some brutal dental work right there. Jeez. We were talking earlier, who is investigating who? Let's try to break it down.
Yeah, let's try that. So the state is investigating Ray in connection to Frank. right?
Correct.
Because they already think that Frank is kind of evil, we assume.
Yeah.
They're also investigating Casper's death, but we don't believe that they're investigating the two things together, which is why Annie might really not know anything about what they have.
What they have on Ray.
Yes.
Right. Meanwhile, the city of Vinci and all their corrupt, moral-stricken leaders are wanting Ray to investigate Annie in terms of what the state has on the city of Vinci. Also, in addition to that, we have Frank performing his own little investigation into the Casper murders. This one, with what the cops don't know. He's putting out the feelers with all the gangsters, the mobsters in town, trying to get to the bottom of this murder himself so we can figure out, where is his money at. Mm-hmm. So by my count, that's 4 or 5 separate investigations that are all sort of linked. Of course, yet again, we finally forgot to talk about Paul. Let's get to Paul, who actually did some really good detective work last night.
Yeah, he did stuff. I'm really proud of him.
Good for you, Paul. Look at you, up and coming detective. So
he is the one who tracked down this Lux nightclub. He didn't get much information from the female prostitutes, but he did get a lead from the guy prostitute. Mm-hmm. He took him into the Lux nightclub. He literally bumps into Frank.
What a coincidence.
Oh my God.
So, with Ray back in the fold, it's time to play our favorite game of Who is the Truest Detective?
Man, I have a really hard time with this one this week. I kind of feel like it's a little hard to choose this week because finally, everybody's actually investigating. But for me at least, and I'm not sure if this is true for you too, I felt like Annie's chase scene was pretty badass.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So you think we're gonna get more of Annie here moving forward? Because you point out we still don't really know much about her.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I would agree. I like the fact that Annie is. I want to know more about Annie. She's still. I'm still interested, in her character, the e-cigarette ripping. However, I still have to I have to give it to Ray. The show. I feel like the show's creators are setting him up as the truest detective, and pretty much bringing him back from the dead is super True Detective-y. So moving forward, that's the character that I'm picking. Closely followed by Annie, and then I still think Frank is arguably doing, some of the most assertive detective work of anybody right now.
Assertive is the right word. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, pulling out a guy's gold teeth one by one with pliers is awfully assertive.
Yes,
so.
Yes it is. And then poor Paul, he gets left off another week.
You'll get there, Paul. You'll get there. All right, that wraps it up for us. Stay tuned for next week whenever we try to figure out, who is this guy wearing these creepy masks, lighting cars on fire, shooting people's private parts off, and staging deaths with Ray.